Hey traders, I want to talk today about using a historical PE ratio to see where the stock might compare to its current PE ratio. Are the valuations too high? Are they too low relative to that PE ratio going back over a weekly time frame? We'll get into that in just a second. But before we do so, let's go ahead and take a look at some disclosures to get started here. Okay, information here is for general information purposes only. Paper money software application is provided for educational purposes only as well. Now, there are risks associated with investing in dividend-paying stocks. Investing in stocks does involve risk, including loss of principal. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. So having said that, let's go ahead and pull it up right now. So I want to look at that PE ratio on a thinkorswim chart. Now, this is a thinkScript that we've got down here, and thinkScripts aren't guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy. If you want more information about thinkScripts, we do have a thinkScript class that you can check out. Actually, I'll just quickly show that on our screen up top here. By the way, be sure to subscribe to Trader Talks as well. But if you click on playlists, you can go down here and take a look. I'll have a link down in the description for this. But we do have a thinkScript class. I actually teach that class. But this is where we built this script. I thought you guys might find it useful. Okay, so looking over here, what do we have? Well, we've got the PE ratio. Now, we're not used to seeing a PE ratio on the chart, which makes this unique, and it can be quite helpful because it is historically in place. So it gives us that PE ratio on a weekly time frame. Right now, I'm on a 3-year weekly, but it tells us where that PE ratio has varied from week to week over the past 3 years. And this is helpful because it can give us a sense of where the high range is for a given stock, at least historically. That's probably between 35 and 40. Also off the bottom. And you're seeing that what's interesting right here, I wanted to highlight this stock example specifically, is that we are at the low level, at least over the past 3 years. Now it's more current. The 10-year might be a little bit different because meta over the last 3 years is different than the meta over the last 10 years. So traders might like to get a 3 to 5 year time frame as opposed to a longer term weekly time frame. Now, if you come over here and look, where are we at? Well, we're right in that same 20 range. This is right around 22 right now, the PE ratio, and that is where we bottomed last time, right here. Okay, we bottomed. Prices went up. What about over here? Did we bottom there? We did, at roughly the same level. And are we back there again? We are. Could prices bottom here? That is the question. It's at that level that might be attractive to some value-minded investors. At the high level, conversely, this is where we topped at least short term. Now, earnings did come in strong, and when that happens, that's going to push your PE ratio down, so the valuations actually became better from that perspective. But over here, too, around these highs, well, we did go sideways for a while. Over here, at this high, we did as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at another company here. How about Visa? Here's Visa. Now, Visa near a 3-year weekly low. I could draw a straight line there. There you go. Where does that come in at? We're right around 26 is that PE ratio right now. You say to yourself, well, why was it 26 here? And it's also 26 here. I mean, we're at a lot lower price, approximately 26, a lot lower price relative to where we are up here. So what's going on? Well, remember, it's the PE ratio. We're looking at price over earnings, and that earnings is having an impact because earnings, folks, are going higher over time. So that's why you can still get a PE ratio that might be relative even at higher prices, because we've had an increase in earnings relative to price over that time frame. You can see that right there. Now, by the way, it's also interesting, too, to look at these spikes up here that came around earnings. Sometimes you will get that volatility on this indicator here, but that's kind of the higher end post earnings, and it does tend to consolidate, but we are quite a bit lower right now. Here's another one. Again, thinkScripts aren't guaranteed for timeliness or accuracy, but as long as the data coming into the platform is accurate, well, those thinkScripts will do what the data suggests, but we just need to state that. Here we go here as well. So here's Apple. Now, this is a little bit different because on Apple, we are on the upside of where the PE ratio tends, and the keyword is tends. It's over a 3-year time frame, but it is an interesting reference. I've touched off those 3 key points. Well, the best I could with my line, that is. It actually goes back even over here too. What's interesting here, let's even start over here. At this level, around 36 and change, it's about real close to 37. I'll just say 36 approximately. What did we get here? Well, those were prior highs. And we actually, at least around this level, we didn't actually get going higher until we bounced off the lower PE ratio range. Didn't mean to flip up higher on that, but you can get the general sense. That's below 30. Now, around 36, though, what did we have? A high. A high. And question mark, will we be at a high again? It's interesting, but we are looking at valuations here. Let me just draw some arrows to highlight this a little bit. Okay. So there you go. So really today I wanted to highlight how this can be used. It's interesting to see in terms of a historical PE ratio, but it's also fascinating to kind of get a sense of how it works on the tops and potentially those bottoms. Now I will post this type of information. By the way, we'll have this ThinkScript code below the description section as well for you to check out under the recorded version of this. And just wanted to highlight too, as we go through it again, yeah, be sure to follow us on our Trader Talks channel right over here. Got a lot of great content. And also, I just want to state over here, this is my X handle. I'm going to go ahead and post that X handle in the description section down below as well. But I will highlight earnings, different updates, where we will also post this type of information. One final quick note over here. I'll put a link to a recent ThinkScript that I did that also, if you haven't seen it, it'll be right under here. So just ThinkScript, but it's going to be the one from a couple of weeks ago. It's going to be on earnings, the earnings trend. Well, let me highlight which one it is so you've got it. We'll pull this up here real quick just to make sure you, oh, not that one, folks, just one second. Oh, right over here, right-hand side. So it is this one right over here. Ways to detect earnings beats with momentum. We hit it here, and we also got it right over here as well. We talked about a couple of different ones there, but it was the earnings line that might be of interest to you too. So just park that in the back of your minds. If you want to take a look at the earnings line, I have that listed in the description section as well. And that simply would just show an earnings line on the chart. Kind of interesting too, because you get to see our earnings making higher highs and higher lows as well. Well, and on that note, have a great day.